YouTube, what's going on? This is Coach Show, back with a video on the acceleration. Biomechanists have talked about 7 steps to 10 meters being a benchmark for elite men. The velocity obviously matters to how you cover that distance, but the first step, no pun intended, is can you even hit that number? Can you hit that distance in that number of steps? So I have a drill for you, an exercise for you to help you open up, create more stride length. Like, comment, and subscribe. I have a version for the women as well. My population, if you're not familiar with my channel, my population is mostly high school kids. I have a college group in the summer as well, but mostly high school kids. But I'm trying to get them elite, running really fast times as I've done in the past. So like, comment, and subscribe. We're going to review some video here. I appreciate the support. Let's do it. Okay, so this drill, you're going to need some cones and about 10 meters of space, maybe about 15 so you can decelerate. This started with long jumpers that I was working with. The cone was about 9 meters from the line. And I told the guys, I said, I need you to get here in 6 steps. And some of them struggled to do it. Some did it fine. The taller guys could pretty much get there. And then some of them were kind of like jumping on that last step because they weren't trying to like miss the distance. I said there was a push-up penalty if you didn't make it. So once everyone got it in 6, I said, all right, now I want you to get there in 5. And they look at me like, whoa, like it seems impossible until you really understand like how much you're not pushing. If you don't understand how to push, that requirement is going to be very hard, very challenging. So taking that exercise with the jumpers, I brought it to the sprinters I was working with in the evening, and I gave them a very similar protocol. And here are the results. So we started from 2-point stance. We run it back. Everything has to still be executed with the understanding of sound, sprint mechanics, and everything like that. We started from 2-point stance. I had a lady zone and I had a fella zone. So you'll notice on the track, there are like a blue segment. So I said to the ladies, I want your foot in this gap. As long as you're at least at the front of the zone, I'm cool. But I need your foot somewhere in this zone to get your 6 steps down. No, 7 steps. I started easy. I said there's levels to this. I said I need the 7 steps in this zone. Fellas, I need 7 steps in this particular zone too. And they were the orange cones. Or around this line, pardon me. Let me start that again. And for the fellas, I told them, I need your foot 8 steps. 8 steps past the line. So it starts pretty easy. I want to build their confidence before I completely shatter it. And these are the reps. So we get some pretty sound mechanics, right? Different stride length is going to require different things, and really to nitpick things and pull things apart. So the ladies went first, and then the fellas went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So the guys were able to get there about 7 steps, no problem. Then we upped the ante. Fellas, I want you to get there in 7 now. Ladies, I want you to get there in 6. And this is where we start to see more push-ups being done because the athletes were approaching it the same way. And it takes a rep or two to kind of feel it and understand that I got to make an adjustment. So at this one, I've put a zone now. I said, fellas, I want that 7th step in the zone. It doesn't have to be past the line, but that 7th step should be somewhere in that zone. And we did lots of these. I mean, it's only 10 meters of work. Then we advanced it to 2-point stance, or 3-point stance, pardon me. We advanced it to 3-point stance. Can you get to the same number? That was an ugly rep there. Can you get to the same number from a crouch position? Now, this should be harder because of the start position and the orientation of the hips. And this is where we started to really see people miss it. So it became a conversation between reps. I was asking them, okay, if you're not making it, something's got to change. Similar to when you race. If your aspiration is to run, I don't know, 675 in the 60, or take it to the 100, you want to run 10.8, or you're relating, you want to run 11.5, or whatever the case is, right? And by the time 11.5 comes, you're at the 90 meter mark. Then is it safe to say that you're not optimizing your execution, your patterns, your habits from the start of the race, causing you to not get to your destination in time? With this in mind, I put it back on the athletes. I said, all right, so what's going to change? And I had the athletes, I didn't get any video of this, but I had the athletes watch each other. I said, like, let's watch Kayla. Okay, and Kayla, we see Kayla's, let me see if there's a video for here. Okay, so this is not a great angle, but you can see Kayla, you should be able to see her feet are relatively close. Her feet are a little bit too close together. Her hips don't come up very high. In fact, they don't come up at all. Her back is flat. We talked about this over and over, but these are high school kids. They don't listen to anyone. You got to keep coaching it. So I said, guys, why do you think Kayla's not able to get to that mark in 6 steps? Well, her back foot is too far back, or her feet are too close. Okay. And why would that be an issue? It takes him a little bit, but they tell me that she's not able to open up her stride. She's not able to push. Okay, very good. Someone else says, oh, well, her hips are too low. I said, okay, so what effect does that have on the acceleration? And they're like, they're not sure. So I asked them, what muscles are stretched when the hips are up? Well, the glutes. Okay, great. So if the glutes get a stretch, I can use them to push. When Kayla's back is flat like this, what muscles are getting a stretch? Which also are getting a stretch when her hips are up too, but they say with the quads. Okay, great. So if you're not pushing with the hips, you're pushing with the quad. And the quad is responsible for extending at the knee. We don't run from our knees. We run from our hips. That's where the stride length comes from. So the issue with Kayla's start is not that we want it to look a certain way for aesthetics. We want it for a particular purpose to open up her stride and create more stride length. She's not doing that right now. Then she has a habit of stepping laterally. That first step, I don't know if you noticed. It pushes, it goes down, and then the lack of push from the hip is causing her to reach. It's causing her to reach. That shin opens up. Again, things we worked on, but we got to keep working on them. So this drill is awesome for just the basics. No resistance is needed, no bullet belts, no 1080, nothing like that. The athlete needs to learn how to cover ground from 2-point stance and from 3-point stance, because this has to be a precursor to when we get to the blocks again. And when we get to the blocks again, there needs to be a sound understanding of what the requirement is to create the necessary stride length. If we're not creating good habits in the start, we need to drill it and get it right before we put spikes on or we put ourselves back in the blocks where intensity is high. So as a review, this is a great drill for covering more stride length. The athlete has a destination they're trying to reach. And we used 9 meters for the ladies. And we used 10 meters for the men. I gave them different stride numbers to reach their goal. Level 1 from a 2-point stance was 8 steps to 10 meters for the men and 7 steps to 9 meters for the ladies. Love this position from Ono. Then level 2 was 7 steps to 10 meters or 9.5 to 10 meters. There's a zone for the men and 6 steps to 9 meters for the ladies. Then step 3 is 7 steps from a 3-point stance for the men, same zone. 6 steps for the ladies to 9 meters or so from 3-point stance as well. So that is the drill. Give it a go, reps and sets. I did about 4 to 5 correct reps with them at each distance with each stimulus. So if you're able to do so, I would. You don't need cones. There's something to mark off where they do it right. Anything where they're jumping to that mark because they don't want to lose or do the push-ups would be an incorrect rep, right? So we want sound sprinting mechanics. I hope this one helped you guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate your support. And until the next one, guys. Peace.